Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have a clip for you from Judge Jason Elmore in Michigan. And actually, Miss Kinsley sent this to me, and I want to make sure I got this in. But this is about a mom who went a bit crazy, maybe had a few too many to drink, although she swears she didn't. There's proof she did. Anyway, she went a little crazy on the ski resort at Cabernet in Michigan, and supposedly there's videos of this encounter with this woman out there somewhere, but I searched and searched and searched and I could not find them. So if anybody happens to know of these videos, please send it to me, because I would love to do a part 2 and post the video. But anyway, she went nuts, and I'll let you guys watch.
All right, we're next taking up the case of people in the state of Michigan versus Miranda, Joey, Teresa Warner. This is file 24-13766FH. Appearances, please.
Joanne Gary, Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney for the People.
And I'm Jeff Harrison. I'm here to be from this board. Tim.
Thank you. The court also recognizes here today Mr. Charles Kennard, an agent from the Michigan Department of Corrections, standing in today for Mr. Potter, who prepared the pre-sentence investigation report. We'll begin by asking the parties if they have any other amendments or any amendments or corrections to the report. Ms. Carey.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did receive and review the report. I do not have any corrections or additions.
Right. Mr. Harrison.
I have no proposed changes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take a look here. When we look at a pre-sentence investigation report, there's a reason why a lot of information is requested. It's so the court can fashion a sentence that both fits the individual and the offense. And I don't know why, but beginning on CFJ 284, beginning on page 2 and 3, I don't have any information. And I'm going to ask, why did the defendant not talk about employment, salary, how much money does she make? I've got some information here about some issues, medical and physical. I've got no idea if she was on medication, if she's receiving treatment for those. I will note that there was a letter provided to the court from a physician at the University of Michigan in Ypsilanti. I don't know. Anyways, the point here is I don't know much about the defendant. According to this, she doesn't make any money, which I highly doubt is true. Right? You know?
I've not made money since May of 2023.
You don't do real estate?
Well, that's what my career is, but
okay.
I got sick last July, and it put a stop to everything that I had on the table. My gallbladder ruptured, I guess, and they had to remove it, and my body didn't handle it well. And I started getting better, and then we went on this trip, and things got worse, and I do physical therapy 3 times a week, so I can't really do work yet.
All right. So if we went on social media, you don't still run a social media page about being a real estate agent?
That's my main page now, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Continue to do it.
All right. So if you've got other issues and conditions, I don't see any of those here. Let me ask you a question. Were you drinking alcohol on that day?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So if I were to call the sheriff deputy who is here today, they're not going to tell me that you drank alcohol on that day. In fact, they tested you at the jail and you had some in your system. And if I call the owners of Cabernet to the courtroom, they're not going to tell me you were drinking that day?
No, I was not
drinking. All right. Well, I think that's worth checking into, because I know a lot more about this case. I'm just going to cut to the chase. I'm going to allow you to take some time here, and you're going to fill out all that information. And I'm going to highlight for one thing, when we come down and talk about this case, you attached a letter to the report, and it says you have the right to say what happened. Do you know in that letter, I want you to find for me, and point it out to Mr. Harrison, where in that letter you told me what you did. Not 2 pages of saying what everyone else did. I want to know what you did.
Because at that time, it was happening. I didn't know I was doing it. I mean, I know now. I tried to watch the videos, but I can't because my behavior was absolutely atrocious.
It was. You told your children that you regretted having them.
I've not said that. I don't know, but if I did, I mean, I'm glad I couldn't get through the case then. But I mean, my children haven't said that I said that, and
I know, but I know the people who were there, and I've heard people talk about this.
Okay.
So, you drove through the parking lot, ripping up the strings with the metal post.
Yes.
That wasn't in there. There wasn't the hitting or slapping of somebody, which I've seen on video.
When I had to pull forward, I didn't hit or slap him, but I accidentally hit her, but I thought I was hitting a guy. I didn't even know it was her. And as for
okay. Okay. Well, I want to know more information, because I can tell you when I read this on last week, I was like, yeah, this woman doesn't get it. And so right now, you all and Mr. Harrison are going to take a couple of minutes. I'm going to give you 15 minutes. It might be a little bit longer. You're going to fill out all that information. I need to know, are you on medications? Do you have any of this record? So you had apparently some kind of closed head injury. No, it says not a closed head injury. It just says concussion.
Well, it's not a concussion anymore.
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything else about that. Yeah, and you know, obviously it was your daughter who called the police that day, right?
Oh, no. My daughter said nothing that happened. What they said that happened to her. My daughter did not call police. She had no idea what was going on. She was terrified. Okay. All 3 of them were, all 4 of them, because we had her friend.
Were they terrified of you?
No, they were afraid of what was going on. They had no idea why it was happening.
Right. So we're going to take some time. We're going to let you guys fill this out. And we might set this for a show cause as to contempt, because I don't think you're being truthful.
I'm being 100% honest. Okay. I swear to God I am.
Then great. Then you're going to be fine. But we're going to set it aside and have you come back up here, and we're going to put the videos on, because now it's going to be a challenge to whether or not you're contempt of court and whether or not what you're telling me is true. Right?
Okay, well, the parts I did see, I can tell you parts of those short parts I saw the videos where I remembered and where I don't. Well, I don't know about part.
How do you not remember?
I don't remember most of it. Okay. I remember only what I wrote down, and I'm in therapy trying to get the memories back. Here's
what I'm going to focus on. What you wrote down was very, very detailed until one moment in time. And that's when you acted out. You blamed everybody in your statement. You talked about your boots coming off on the hill, the strap on your snowboard, what another guy did, what another guy did.
That's everything I remember from that day.
But you don't remember.
I don't even remember if there was my kids anymore from that day. None of it, and that was the first time.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to find out what we're going to do. Do I give you a delay of sentence? If I do, based upon what you tell me you don't work and you don't make any money, but I think you have a social media page where you talk about your real estate business.
And that was show my last close was April or May of 2023.
Okay.
Anything else I've shared since is other agents with their permission.
Okay. And But you can afford, can you afford to do trips? Are you taking any vacations?
No, that was the first time we've ever taken them on vacation, not just because of money, but because I've been afraid to do anything with them.
Did you take them anywhere else just around that time?
Maybe family. I
Take
don't
them to
know.
Chicago the week before?
Oh, she took us to Chicago, yes.
See, I'm looking at
Well,
this.
the boys didn't get to go. They went to Chicago with their 12. It was for my daughter and I to see a play.
So you're going to fill out more information, because right now what I see is somebody who, I mean, when I looked at this, here's another thing that you said that upset the court. Let me find for you. All right. What occurred on January 3rd, 2024 cannot be written by hand in the amount of time I've had to complete these packets. If need be, I'll write all the events down. Well, then you later on did. And in it, one moment here. Right now, I can't, I'm not looking for the words that I had here, but a statement that you made, and I can tell you through the 2.5 pages, I wrote down, this had nothing to do with what you did. All you did was point fingers at everybody.
But I didn't. I said that I hit somebody. I said why we're fighting. I just explained what happened. I'm not trying to place blame on,
Right.
like.
Okay, well, let's see what we're going to do. We're going to take 15 minutes. You're going to fill out the information. If I ask for that information and I told you to fill it out, you are going to fill it out.
I don't remember not filling something out, so
That's okay. I accept that, and thank you very much for the apology. I do appreciate that. But I can't give you a sentence without knowing the information. And the fact that your attorneys didn't help you fill out the information doesn't help me either. They should have gone over it and said, you need to fill out this information. And I've also talked to the probation officer to help fill this out. You got a ways to go. You told him you didn't drink. The deputy's here to tell me that you had alcohol and that they tested you at the jail and you tested positive.
I didn't get tested at the jail
Yeah, they did.
for alcohol.
Is there a test?
I got a DNA test done. That was
in her
it.
booking information, but yes.
Yeah, you
she
did.
has to be tested.
I did not get a test. I got a DNA test. That was it. A swab on my cheek.
I got it. I understand you're going to go with that, and that's fine. But you had consumed it that day.
I did not. I did not.
Okay. All right. So you're going to fill out the rest of this information. I've seen the videos of what happened.
It's horrible. I know it.
I know.
I scared people. I was scared though. I don't mean to scare people.
Okay.
I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want to make anybody have to do with any of that.
We're going to have you take 15 minutes and complete the information here. When you don't complete the information that I ask you to provide, that means that I have to somehow believe you and without any information. And I need to know that. For instance, this information about the treatment that you've mentioned. I need to know that, because then that makes me, when I look at that, go, oh, well, this makes sense. But none of it's in here. And you're going to go fill it out right now, because that helps me give the sentence and determine if I'm going to give you the delay. All right, thank you. We're adjourned.
Thank you. Your Honor, I need a little more than 15 minutes. I have Zoom with Crawford County at 10.
You take care of that, and we'll wait for it. Thank you. People, the court case recalls the case of People of the State of Michigan versus Miranda Borner, file 24-13766FH. The court you may be seated. The court recognizes all parties present from court recessed earlier this morning are again present, including Ms. Carey on behalf of the people and Mr. Kennard on behalf of the Department of Corrections, the defendant and her counsel, Mr. Harrison. All right, when we were last up here earlier, we were talking about the pre-sentence investigation report. Mr. Harrison, since you're standing up, why don't you go ahead and tell me where we're at?
Your Honor, I did obtain some more extensive information with regard to her current treatment.
Sure.
I've shown it to Mrs. Carey. If I may approach and show the same to the court.
You may. Thank you. Ms. Carey, I've had this handed to me by Mr. Harrison. Have you seen it?
I did.
All right, have you gone over it? Any objection to those making those changes?
No, Your Honor,
Okay.
it doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but no.
All right, well, I appreciate it. I'll tell you that it does to me, because when I looked at the defendant's behavior, I wanted to have some idea of where it came from. That's really what I wanted to know today. And this helps me. This is the kind of stuff that I would need to know. So, Mr. Kennard, I'm going to provide this to you, and I'll allow or ask you all to make the changes to the pre-sentence investigation report. And basically it shows health conditions, work issues and diagnosis, and probably even more importantly, medications. And some of these medications do give me some, do help me quite a bit. All right, so Mr. Harrison, when last we left and I interrupted and derailed us, do you have any other amendments, corrections, or objections to make the report, sir?
I do not.
All right, allocution then, sir.
Well, I too, to be honest, was, or am, I suppose, concerned with regard to the incident in question and the events that took place. And I think it often behooves me in my position to give the court a clear understanding as to why. Why did this happen? Why did it happen this way? Why did my client in this case, Ms. Werner, why did she behave like that on that day in question? And I struggle with trying to do that here, to trying to explain it. So I don't think I will. I think I will just say this, Your Honor. I've talked to her spouse, who was involved in the incident as well. She believes that this had something to do with perhaps an as yet undiagnosed mental health condition. We're not sure. The doctors aren't sure. She's currently waiting placement with a new therapist and counselor. Frankly, she's pretty excited about having that opportunity. She's also mentioned that she's had issues regarding her short-term and long-term memory. Well, that too would be consistent with someone who, after the fact, being asked to create a narrative, is unable to do so. And the reason I chose that word with particularity, Your Honor, is I don't want to leave the court with the impression that it was her choice or that she had any purpose in trying to be deceptive. She doesn't. She has said today that she deeply regrets her actions. They're embarrassing. We have watched the videos that you mentioned, Your Honor, on a couple of different occasions in our office. She's not been able to sit through the complete videos on each occasion because she is mortified that the person that is obviously her was behaving in that way on that date and time. So the search for the existential question why, frankly, is not going to have a satisfactory conclusion, I don't believe, in this one particular instance. I wanted to have you review that medical information because, as you could see, she suffers from a myriad of concerns with regard to her mental health and perhaps a myriad of concerns with her physical health, not to mention the fact that she is a survivor of leukemia. We're not supposed to say survivor because it's technically in remission. But as you can see, Your Honor, that's not a current issue she's dealing with. I struggle with this as well, Your Honor, because overall, I think her instincts were in the right place. She felt that she and or her children were being threatened somehow, and she reacted in the way, at least in the intentional way, that you would have a parent react. The fact that it merged into this sort of irrational, unexplainable situation, notwithstanding, that just says to me that there's at least a glimmer of recognition on her part of a genuine, what she perceived to be a genuine threat. And I'm much more comfortable having discussed it with her prior to today, Your Honor, and a little bit more today, that she does recognize the wrongfulness of her actions and that she ought to have a sanction imposed for having committed that behavior. Now, let's circle back to that one on a little bit. As you know, the proposal here is for a delay of sentence. I believe that when we entered the plea, and I believe now even more fervently, that that is appropriate under these circumstances. The reason I think that, Your Honor, is that I think she owes the court and the people of this county the obligation, the responsibility to take care of whatever her mental health diagnosis turns into. Now, I'm not putting a large burden on her shoulders because, as you can see, she's already heavily involved in her mental health and trying to control it as much as she can. I'm not sure at the end of the day how all of the stories that were told that day fit together. I'm also not sure that there's anything that I could say that might persuade the court that this was not entirely an intentional act. Okay. The important thing for me, and I guess what I would emphasize to the court as well, is that she herself is aware of the fact that she's responsible for her actions on that day. And she doesn't seek to shirk that responsibility, and she's more than willing to provide you with the proof that you need to be certain that she's got it under control by serving her delay of sentence probation as proposed in the PSI. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Carey?
Thank you, Your Honor. I find this case to be quite frustrating. I did agree to a delay of sentence, and I'm going to stick with that, and I'm going to start with that because of her lack of any prior history. So I do think it's fair, although I do think the period of probation also is appropriate. There was no mention at the time of being assaulted in the parking lot. There was no mention at the time of falling and hitting her head. There was no mention of that. There was only really...
She didn't go to see ski patrol.
She didn't go see ski patrol. We double checked on that. She didn't call the police herself, but numerous people called because of her behavior, not because of anybody else's, because of hers. And when the police did arrive, she was worse. She was combative and belligerent and quite horrible to them. So, and I saw the list of medications. It's her list. It's not from a doctor. There's no proof of it. And I take that for what it is. There's no indication in the 5.5 months that this has been pending that she's done really, I don't know what counseling she's had. I don't know what treatment. I don't know how often she's going. I don't know what she's done to address what she claims are these mental health issues that caused this. And that frustrates me because she's had time. She's had time to get us more than what she's given. She's had time to show us that she's taking this seriously and that she's addressing the issues. And frankly, I don't see that. But I think a delay of sentence with a year will give her that time to show that she's taking it seriously and that she's not going to do this again. And this is really, she put a lot of people in danger. She scared a lot of people. And this kind of behavior, frankly, is just not acceptable no matter what the reason. And I would ask the court to consider that. And I would also ask the court to follow the delay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Porter, you have the right to make a statement if you choose to do so. Is there anything you wish to say today now?
I want to apologize for everything that I caused. And I'm willing to do whatever it is that you guys need me to do. And I'm very sorry to the officers I came in contact with that night. Every one of them. I feel sorry for even the people that didn't know what originally started. Like, I feel bad for all of them. And I'm just very sorry.
So, again, and I'm going to cover a few things, and then I'm going to tell you what the sentence will be. The first thing is, and I did find what I was looking for earlier, and I'll tell you, it really stuck with me. It's on the second page of your statement. I'd rather not go into detail about the attack at this moment due to time. There, if you want it.
Oh, I wrote the attack specifically.
But hold on, and I'll tell you, on these 3 pages, the question is what did you do and what happened? And I told you to maybe speak with Mr. Harrison about where it was. You described what you did. It doesn't really appear there until it's the moment you're in the jail.
Well, when I thought about it out there, I did realize there could have, when I had said that people came through, like I was fighting the people, like, and maybe I didn't put that information in there.
Okay, but you know, the point there is that just tells me, I just don't know if you get it. I will say, I know all about the event. The owner was standing right there. The 2 owners were standing right there.
And then one of them took one of my children.
Yeah.
And he wasn't supposed to.
But you also were out of control.
I know.
So I'm going to tell you what I've seen here today, or sorry, what I've seen in this report is not what happened. Here's another thing. I don't need to drive, is what you said, because I've got multiple licensed people. No, you drove through the barricades with the vehicle.
Yes.
But yet you told here that you didn't drive.
No, that I wasn't going to the truck to drive. I was going to the truck originally to change. And then I was going back to the truck with my kids because of what happened originally.
So why did you drive through the barricades?
Because they were surrounding our car and they wouldn't stop trying to open all of our doors. That's why I finally had all of my kids in the car and I just wanted us to get away. That was it.
But here's the thing. Why did that all start? Why were they there circling around you?
Because the initial man that did approach with me from behind when I was trying to get into the truck originally to change when I was by myself. And that freaked me out and I'm like, okay, we're not dealing with this. So I went back up and I'm like, we gotta go. Like, no, leave everything. She'll come get it. Like, we gotta go. We all gotta get in the truck. And then by the time I got down there again, I don't know if it was the same guy or a different guy. But
by the way, it was an employee. He was one of the guys on the camera.
Yeah, so
he was trying to stop you from hurting your kids and hurting
I told him that I had not drank. I told him that I also wasn't the driver. I told him that I had 4 licensed drivers. So I had 2 teenagers that had permits. Well, one of them didn't have a permit yet. I lied about that when I told him that. But just to make it clear that I was not intoxicated and that I wasn't the one driving anyway. When this all started, Alyssa and one of our sons were still on the lift. We were not supposed to be leaving yet.
Okay.
I just wanted to change my clothes because things were too confusing. I couldn't move right.
I've seen the videos.
I've seen them too.
The only person that was, and I saw, by the way, I'm going to note, there are a lot of other videos out there. It wouldn't take long for us to have a hearing and to subpoena the other people who have the videos. I could call right now on the phone and have them here in the next 30 minutes. There was one person who was out of control, and it was you.
Yeah.
Nobody else. Anyone else interrupting was trying to stop you from driving because you were yelling.
I didn't become disruptive.
Do not talk. Maybe you're used to that somewhere else in your life. When I'm talking, you do not. The court sentences the defendant as follows. The court places the defendant upon a period of probation with underneath a delay of sentence for 12 months. That is pursuant to NCL 771.1, parenthetical 2. The court assesses two $68 state minimum fees, a $130 crime victims' right fund fee, a $300 court cost. I'm going to set the fines here at $1,500 and attorney fees at $300 and a supervision fee at $30 a month or $50 a month if there is any electronic monitoring. The court adopts the terms or conditions for that period of probation, which are contained on CFJ 145, pages 2 and 3. I base his sentence entirely only on the information that's contained in the pre-sentence investigation report, and particularly the detailed information that's provided not only today by the defendant on review of issues regarding health. And here's what I'm going to highlight. This is what we should have talked about. Ms. Borner does have several issues and several things that involve substances and medications, and I'm concerned for her. I want to ensure that she is following that policy procedure. The person I see here today, however, which I'm not going to use as my sentence, you are not the person you portray on your social media that my office helped me look up. But I'm sentencing you only on the information that's contained in this report. And really what's lacking in your description of the event. And I can tell you, the very last page of your report seems to suggest to me, I didn't know what I was doing, is what you said. First, you say someone smashed your face in the cement. I don't know about that, but anyways, that part of the story seems to have changed. But here's what you said. I kicked away from the door in restraint that was going to break my ankle, and I did my best to sit up. And it then continues. I did not know I was actually with officers until I was strapped into a chair and made eye contact, which means, what does it really mean? It means that you denied resisting an officer. You thought you were just resisting somebody else. So the real question is should I just withdraw your plea? Because right there, you just denied that you did anything wrong. That is what has set me off when I reviewed this. You said, I didn't know what I was doing until I was in the police station and I was strapped to a chair. You denied everything else, which means you never have yet acknowledged, well, maybe you have a little bit today, what you did wrong. When I see that, you know, each one of these attorneys knows, when I see in a PSI that the defendant denies doing anything wrong, the first question is let's withdraw the plea and send you to trial. Mr. Harrison, is that what your client wants to do?
No, it is not, Your Honor.
I didn't think so. Again, the court finds the terms and conditions for probation that are listed on CFJ 145 are appropriate. The court sentences the defendant to 2 days in jail with 2 days of credit. Because the defendant is placed upon a delay, the court does not need to go over the advice of rights. Ms. Borner, had you not said that last sentence, and had you filled out all the information, it wouldn't have been as rough today. My point here isn't to be mean. It's that when I look at this, I don't see a defendant who thinks she did anything wrong. And so far a lot today, especially the 2.5-page statement, did not help you. We are adjourned.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, is there a DNA fee?
DNA, well, we don't
do that.
do a DNA fee if there's a delay of sentence because it's still a deferred sentence.
That's fine.
All right, thank you. We're adjourned.
It is amazing how much detail this woman remembers, but she's got amnesia to everything that she did illegally and wrong that day. How she hit people, she thought she was hitting a woman, or she thought she was hitting a man, but she hit a woman instead. She remembers people trying to get in her car, but she didn't realize they were actually trying to stop her from driving drunk and hurting her kids. It's just baffling how much she remembers, and then she's got amnesia to all the stuff that she actually did. And she tested positive for alcohol, so she was drinking that day. It's BS that she doesn't remember that. Anyway, if you guys see these videos or you know of these videos, please let me know where I can find them. I really would like to post a part 2 so that you all can see the videos. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.